Finishing Vagabond doesn't really feel like reaching the end of a normal story. It's quieter than that. It's not a last boss battle kind of moment. It's more like closing the book and realizing you still have questions. Today, while I redraw one of my favorite panels, Musashi standing alone, cutting through a wave, I want to talk through everything I took from this story. The way Inoue built it, where the story goes, why it matters, even if it's unfinished. And for me, why Vagabond sits in the B tier, but still being one of the most powerful manga I've ever read. Also, I'll be giving away the drawing I did in this video. If you'd like a shot at winning it, just like the video, leave a comment and subscribe. My Patreon is now live and has full time lapses, tutorials and extra study breakdowns too, if you want to see the full process. Alright, let's get into it. First, I want to get into my approach to recreating a page. Whenever I redraw a manga page, especially something as deliberate as Vagabond, I slow everything down. I start with a 25 by 25 centimeter square. Keep the proportions clean without cramping the flow. I start sketching with a 4H pencil. Barely any pressure. This stage is all about catching the energy of the pose. Musashi's stance here is grounded but relaxed. His weight is forward into the wave, but his body is loose. It's not a tense moment, it's composed. You can tell Inoue wasn't drawing just to show a sword technique here. He was drawing a presence. I build up the block-in stage slowly, finding the arc of the robe, the slight bend of the sword. The robe isn't stiff, it's alive. When I'm happy with the base, I go in with a 2B to reinforce my shadow forms. Under the arms, around the base of the robe, along the sword grip. For inking, as always, I'm using a G pen for the heavier outlines of the structure. And I now have a Maru pen for the finer touches, like the hair strands and the water textures. Finally, I come in with a soft grey marker to add depth without overpowering the line work. Not rushing, not copying exactly, because that would be impossible. Trying to find the balance he built into the page. So let's get into a recap of Vagabond's story. Vagabond begins right after the Sakigahara battle. Musashi is still rough, almost feral. His only goal is to become stronger. He believes that by stacking up victories, he'll find something lasting. Respect, safety, meaning. The early part of the manga is full of violence. Hard, messy fights. Not clean anime duels, but frantic, bloody survival matches. The Yoshioka arc is one of the biggest turning points. Musashi takes on an entire school by himself, not because he has to, but because his pride tells him he can. And while he wins, he doesn't feel any stronger afterward. If anything, he's more isolated, more tired. As the series moves forward, the tone changes. Musashi meets Kojiro, a deaf, free-spirited swordsman who doesn't carry the same anger. Kojiro moves like he's part of the world around him, not fighting against it. Musashi starts to notice the cracks in his own ideas of strength. Later volumes show Musashi leaving fighting behind altogether, working the land, carrying the water, watching seasons pass. The battles go inward, learning how to lose, learning how to exist without swinging a sword at every problem. It's one of the slowest, most honest character arcs I've read, and it's done without huge speeches or dramatic moments. It just unfolds. Before Vagabond, Inoue was already a household name from Slam Dunk. Super clean, super tight basketball manga. Tons of energy, great expression, very traditional structure. By the time he was finished, he wasn't interested in drawing action anymore. With Vagabond, you can see him actively breaking away from that style. The early chapters of Vagabond are still clean, lots of careful anatomy, clear paneling, but halfway through something shifts. The brush starts taking over. Heavier blacks, looser outlines, more open space. By the time Musashi's farming, Inoue's panels feel almost like paintings. Expressive, confident, and minimal lines to carry maximum feeling. It's not polished manga anymore. It's something else entirely. It's art that trusts the viewer to breathe with it. Vagabond gets you to care about Musashi, not because of how strong he gets, but because of how much he lets go. That's what makes the story so rare. But the manga never officially finishes. There's no last duel between Musashi and Kojiro. It drifts off, as if Musashi's journey wasn't something that needed to end. And while that fits the story thematically, it still leaves a gap. You can feel it. That small part of you that still wanted a moment of closure. Inoue talked about it openly. He didn't want to keep pushing violence forward for the sake of an ending. He said he felt pulled toward different stories. Stories about growth, about life beyond conflict. Drawing Musashi's battles no longer felt honest to him, and so he stopped. No big cancellation announcement, no final goodbye. Just a quiet stepping away. Just like Musashi stepping away from the sword. The bones of Vagabond came from E.G. Yoshikawa's novel, Musashi. But the heart feels pulled from Zen ideas, the beauty of impermanence. The idea that strength isn't about overcoming, it's about dissolving your need to overcome. You can see it in every stage of Musashi's growth, and you can see it mirrored in Inoue's brushwork too, as the panels open up and the need for tight control fades. You can feel Vagabond's influence all over later manga. The patient pacing in Vinland Saga, the acceptance of messy brushwork in all of seinen manga. It showed that manga didn't have to be about escalation. It could be about slowing down, about letting a story end without fireworks. It set a different kind of standard. For me, I'm placing Vagabond in a B tier. Not because it isn't great, it is, but because it's unfinished, because it leaves something just barely out of reach. Still, there are not many stories that stay with you like this one does, finished or not. Alright, that's the end of the video, and my final artwork is done. If you'd like to win this artwork, please subscribe, like, leave a comment on your favorite manga and what I should draw next. I will pick a winner in the next 2 weeks. My Patreon is live. It has the full processes, time lapses, and even more studies if you want to dive deeper. Thanks for sticking around while I unpack this one. See you in the next video.